In this video, we're checking out DaVinci's Film Look Creator and seeing how it compares to the Film LUT from DaVinci, Dehancer Pro, and FilmConvert Nitrate. Let's start with the Film Look Creator. It's got various presets. Each of them applies a specific combination of procedural film-like effects, color grading, contrast curves, and tonal mapping intended to give your image a particular film-inspired mood or style. This tool has generalized film qualities, so instead of mimicking the unique spectral response or color curve of a real film stock, Film Look Creator applies broad characteristics that are common to many film types. For example, slightly softened highlights and shadows, warm or cool color shifts typical of film. There's also subtle texture from grain and light diffusion effects like halation and bloom. The color space override controls how the input footage is interpreted before the Film Look Creator applies its effects. The output white point specifies which white the output of the effect should be balanced toward, so this affects the overall temperature and color balance of the processed image. The contrast curves and tone mapping, especially near the highlights. The way that the film-like look is rendered to match a particular historical or display reference. So take a look at this table to see what a number of the options that we have come from. Next, we have the core look. These are emulation of abstract film looks, not film stocks. This means that DaVinci's Resolve Film Look Creator isn't trying to recreate the exact characteristics of a particular film type with precise color science or scanned film data. It uses creative color grading combined with procedural effects to create moods or looks inspired by the feel of the film. For example, Elated is a warmer, happier tone. It's not linked to a single film stock, but it's designed to feel uplifting. Vintage looks like aged film, with desaturated colors and the gentle fading. Again, this is an impression rather than a precise match. So we have quite a bit of color settings to play around with here. What I really appreciate here is the bleach bypass, which I pointed out on my previous video that was missing from Dehancer. Bleach bypass is a film processing technique where the bleach step is skipped, leaving silver on the film along with the color dyes. So this creates a high contrast, desaturated and gritty look. It's for a harsh, raw, dramatic feel. So 3 famous films that used this were Saving Private Ryan, Seven, and Minority Report. Out of the tools that try to mimic real film, I want to quickly talk about the film grain. It feels a bit more computer generated, more like a filter on top, compared to the more organic grain you get from Dehancer or FilmConvert. The built-in DaVinci Resolve Film LUTs are mathematically lookup tables, designed to simulate the color response of specific print or negative film stocks. It's worth noting that the Kodak 2383 is a print stock, not a camera negative. So these LUTs are the most appropriately used as the final display transform in a color-managed workflow, mimicking how a digital image would appear when printed onto motion picture film for theatrical projection. Unlike the dynamic tools or plugins, LUTs are fixed transformations, meaning that once applied, they don't allow for any fine-tuning of parameters like contrast, saturation, or curve shape within the LUT itself. Are often perceived as harsher or punchier, with increased contrast and color density, especially in the highlights, characteristics typical of the final film print aesthetic. They also lack the creative controls and analog artifacts like halation or grain. Dehancer. There's an entire video on Dehancer's extensive array of customizable tools. Please check the description below. Focusing on the comparison to the Film Look Creator now. Dehancer is a true film emulation, meaning that it relies on scientific measurement and scans of all the 60+ actual film stocks presented in its list, along with print emulation and chemical processes. This means that it can recreate the exact color curves, grain structure, and halation patterns unique to each film type. Dehancer maintains the highest level of dynamic range and detail preservation with excellent skin tone accuracy and natural white preservation. I would also say that you get similar results from FilmConvert Nitrate, in terms of responses, but you have less things to play around with and modify. FilmConvert Nitrate is a powerful film emulation plugin that, as Dehancer, uses real scans of classical film stocks, combined with camera-specific sensor profiles for accurate color response. It adds realistic, exposure-sensitive grain and emulates natural highlight and shadow roll-off, preserving dynamic range and skin tones. While it's less customizable than Dehancer and doesn't include many of Dehancer's tools, it still delivers an authentic, organic film look with minimal setup, which is ideal for fast workflows and cinematic results. Let's take a look at an example. Dehancer Pro. Using Codec Vision 3 50D without print emulation, I found it gave the most realistic and balanced image. It preserved fine details in both highlights and shadows, kept skin tones warm but natural, and maintained clean neutral whites, like the whites of the eyes. The tones felt organic and nothing got crushed or overly stylized. FilmConvert Nitrate using codec 5207 also delivers strong results. It gave a very natural, pleasing, filmic look with excellent texture and subtle contrast. Skin tones were believable and attractive. It retained highlight and shadow as well, thanks to its camera-specific profiles and gentle tone curve. On the other hand, the codec LUT from DaVinci's LUT library felt overly strong. It added a heavy contrast curve, skin tones looked too orange, and the whole image leaned towards a warm, almost sepia filter look. It also clipped highlight and shadow detail. Then there's the DaVinci's Film LUT creator. While better than the LUT, it still felt a bit too stylized for my taste. It adds a built-in tone curve and internal remapping even when everything is turned down. Skin tone shifts read like a filter was applied on the whole image. Whites weren't clean, and overall it reduced the realism of the image. It's a good tool for adding cinematic punch, but not if you're aiming for natural film-like subtlety straight off the bat. So overall, Dehancer and FilmConvert gave me the most filmic, flexible, and true-to-life results, preserving dynamic range, texture, and believable color. If you want accurate film stock emulation with beautiful skin tones and natural highlight roll-off without spending too much time tweaking, FilmConvert is a great middle ground. But if you need full control and precision for a professional-grade film look across multiple shots and a lot of real film stock options, Dehancer is hands down the most powerful tool. If you're after a quick cinematic punch, the built-in DaVinci Film LUTs are a solid choice. For a more stylized, analog-inspired mood, even if it means sacrificing some detail in shadows or highlights, the Film LUT creator does the job well, and it has a lot of tools to play around with.